Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome again to the first panel discussion of the afternoon. I am, and I can say this name, Rabbi Jana De Benedetti from B'nai Zion Congregation. I am going to introduce the panelists for today, and then I will read the question. Each panelist will have, at the beginning, up to 2 minutes. They don't have to take a full 2 minutes, but they'll have up to 2 minutes to answer the question at first, and then there's times to talk to each other, and there's times we will be able to get questions from everyone here. If you have a question, please keep it to the topic. Otherwise, I'm going to have to buzz you or something, take the hook. We're only going to be dealing with this topic, but I encourage you to find people and talk to them afterwards. I would like to introduce our panelists. First, we have Sharon Laborde, minister from the Kemetic Reformed tradition. And you're going to be amazed when you see the table out there, so please visit there. And I have Chan Heron, who is an apologist with the followers of Jesus of Nazareth, which on my notes it's got in parentheses Christianity. Was that a surprise? Okay, just so that you know, I have Reverend Barbara Jarrell from the Minister of All Souls Unitarian Universalist Church of Shreveport. Got that right? And then I have Amelia, and she's and I think Gidya is the title, correct? Gidya of the River Pine Kindred. And I think this is your first time joining our group this year, isn't it?
For this
For the
one. I
panel?
showed up in 2019 or whatever. Before the
This-
pandemic, I think.
We're excited. And so the discussion today is, what do people most often get wrong about your belief system or faith practice? And I'm going to pass around a microphone so that we can hear it. And we're going in order of the panel. Go ahead. You come up? You may. Come on up. And then I'll take this.
Oh, okay.
I'll take this away.
Okay.
Go for it.
Okay. All right, so what do people most often get wrong about Egyptian paganism, aka Kemeticism? 4 things. Number 1, we do not worship the devil or demons. We are not afraid of going to hell for worshiping the wrong God. So we will not be swayed by threats of that. Number 2, we do not believe that aliens built the pyramids or that the Sphinx was built by Atlantis. And the Age of Aquarius is just a hit song from the 70s. Okay. And just because you have talked to our Druid or our Norse Pagan friends, or you went to the Rosicrucian Museum in California, or you watched a horrible documentary on the History Channel, does not mean you know enough to tell us about our practice. And believe it or not, folks at World Religion Day have been guilty of this. We have a different calendar and a different liturgy from other pagan groups. And no, we do not observe the solstices. So if you'd like to know more, we invite you to come to our table, ask, and let us tell you. Number 3, genetics have nothing to do with faith. This is something we deal with a lot online. And I have been called some very nasty names because somehow I am too light to worship Ra. But the Egyptian book of Gates says that Ra made all the peoples of the world. So who is any mortal to tell us who our gods are? Number 4, yes, this is a real religion. One of our forerunners, the Church of the Eternal Source, was legally incorporated 52 years ago this year. Let me say that again, 52 years ago, over half a century. Another of our forerunners, the Kemetic Orthodox, was legally incorporated in 1993. That's 30 years ago this year. And with any luck, and we've been discussing this with some of our friends, the Kemetic Reform will hopefully legally incorporate this year. But in the meantime, we have been hosting online services since 2015 and in-person services since 2007. So we are not a flash in the pan. There you go.
All right, take your time.
I learned a lot. Next we have Chan Heron, and if you stand by the microphone, then the streamers will hear you.
Okay.
So you can either hold this or...
I'm pretty loud. Everybody hear me good?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm a teacher, so.
oh yeah.
Great to be here. To answer this question, there's 2. The first one has to do with the difference between ice cream and medicine. Okay? Raise your hand if you like chocolate ice cream. Okay? Raise your hand if you like something else besides chocolate ice cream. Okay, so those of you that don't like chocolate, I'm going to pray for you. Wouldn't it be really weird if I said, what's the matter with you? You don't like chocolates? There's something wrong with you. You're going to spend eternity in a place separate. That would be kind of strange. When it comes to followers of Jesus, Jesus is not just another flavor. Oh, you have your flavor of ice cream and somebody else has their flavor. No, we look at Jesus as medicine. When you pick ice cream, you choose what you like. When you pick medicine, you choose what heals. It'd be really strange if you went to the doctor and said, doctor, I need to change this medicine. I don't like the way it tastes. Can you give me like Hershey's chocolate for the to cure what ails me? Well, that wouldn't make any sense. So when you choose ice cream, you choose what you like. When you choose medicine, you choose what works. And the second thing is, my beliefs are based on one thing. If you want to know what's your view on politics or marriage, since I'm a follower of Christ, the answer to that question is I take his view on it. So his view on marriage is one man, one woman. His view on male, female, whatever his view is, then that's what we take. So the followers of Jesus don't have their own necessarily beliefs that they came up with. We look to see what Jesus taught and then we follow him. And the bottom line is this: if someone claims to be God and rises from the dead, we should believe them. Thank you.
Well, in Unitarian Universalism, the thing that people often get wrong is they think we can believe whatever we want. And that's not true. Many people have come to our tradition as a result of a crisis of faith in some tradition in which they grew up. There are all sorts of people who have grown up Unitarian Universalists, but many who come to this tradition are there because something was out of integrity for them where they were. What we have to believe as Unitarian Universalists is what we are compelled between our relationship with all that is holy and sacred and our own integrity. That direct relationship between our integrity, God as we are given to understand God, and have a relationship with that which I think is beyond any of our understandings. That's my personal slant on that. But that, you don't get to smorgasbord and go, oh, I think I'll do this, and I think, well, it sure would be nice if I believed this because I get to have this holiday, or it's not like that at all. You are obligated to follow what the integrity of your spirit tells you is true. Everybody in the congregation doesn't have the same experience, doesn't have the same connection, doesn't have the same understanding. And our job is to do what we can to learn from one another, treat one another respectfully, and all encourage one another on the path that is ours.
Hello everyone, my name is Amelia from River Pine Kindred. I have been of this faith for about 13 years, and one of the things that people misunderstand about our faith, and y'all are going to laugh really big because I hear it a lot, if I had a nickel for every time I heard it, I would probably be able to retire now. Wow. So, they think that we are a bunch of Vikings. I'm not joking, they think that we are a bunch of people dressing up for the Renaissance Fair to LARP and to drink mead and to have a great time and honor the old ways. That is not true. It is not. By any means, yes, we do dress up. Some of us dress up to do weddings, and they wear historical garb for certain things when we have weddings, or bless babies, or marry people, or for funeral rites. However, our faith is more about honoring the Norse faith. And we do this by honoring our ancestors. On Winter's Night, we have holidays, and we go by a moon cycle, because that's what some of the things that our ancestors did 2,000 years ago. And one of the things that people misunderstand in our faith is we have people who are warriors. Doesn't matter if you're a woman or a man. We have people who are healers. We have people who are teachers. We have people that are meant to bring the community together. We have women's groups and men's groups. And we come together to weave what we call frith. And frith is a sacred word to us because it means, to weave in good faith. And we have people that do so many different things, not just for a religious standpoint, but a cultural standpoint. And they venerate these things. And we have all walks of life. It's not just a white race that is a part of the Norwegian faith. Anybody can learn about our faith. And we connect in different ways, and a lot of people misunderstand those things about us.
So you're allowed to ask each other questions, because now you get to be both panelist and also participant in our congregation here. I guess we can call it a congregation. If anyone have questions for them?
Up front.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So I would like to ask each one of my fellow panelists, I think we're all asking the big questions of life, like where do we come from, where are we going, what's wrong with the world, how do we fix it? I'd like to point it, let me see, 3 or 4. First, from your faith tradition, I'd like to ask, what's wrong with the world? Secondly, how do we fix it? And thirdly, life after death and salvation. I'm just curious from each panelist's perspective.
This sounds like
How
three-
long is this?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Pick one of
This
your
sounds like
favorites.
we now
Pick
know.
one of your
Yeah, we now know what the
favorites.
questions are going to
Pick
be for
one.
next year's panel, I think.
Well, these two go together. What's wrong with the world and how do we fix it?
Do you have an idea of how to? Are you listening now? Because we're about to fix the world. I think. This is,
What's your answer?
you have one? Do you have an answer?
Yeah, but I want to hear them first.
We need inspiration.
Okay, so, all right. In Egyptian belief, and or Kemetic to distinguish it from the folks that are living in Egypt, now, we have a concept called ma'at, and it means truth, justice, and the Kemetic way. And that is, it's also embodied as a goddess, but that was created, at the beginning of time. But there's an opposite to that, Isfet, which is chaos, disorder, lacking goodness and meaning. And the work of creation is ongoing. Whenever we do things that advance ma'at, that advance truth and balance and righteousness, we are continuing the God's work. And we, there's something that we do in every service where we present ma'at symbolically to the Creator. We say that, we know that you live in her. And so what's wrong with the world is that it's not an ideal place. There's a balance, but we have to work to keep that balance. Because if we don't, then the forces of Isfet, of chaos, can take over. And there is an embodiment. Unlike a lot of other pagan religions, Kemetics do have a devil figure. And it's bad luck to say his name aloud, but it's kind of like Voldemort, with those of you that are Potter fans. But same principle, and so like especially at New Year's, we will symbolically do things to cast out the evil one, and of course that's out with the old, in with the new. But it's also representing what we are expected to do in our own lives to further Ra's work. And we believe that when you die, your spirit is weighed against the feather of truth. And if your heart is weighed down by sin, by regret, by things that it shouldn't be, then you're gonna have to. It depends on who you talk to. Either your soul is devoured, or you're gonna have to go back and do something again. So. That's kind of an idea of what we do.
I was given 3. She took 2.5, so 3.
I don't think we should take 3. There are other people that have questions. Hurt people. And a whole lot of energy and division is generated around people's convictions about what happens after life. And we think what we need to be dealing with is how we're living this one. No matter what the faith of the people in our congregation, that's something we agree on. How we live this life matters, and taking care of those around us and making sure that, you know, we're spiritually fit so that the things we do have the capacity to generate more positive energy than negative, and doing the next right thing and what's in front of us.
So as I said earlier, we believe in we are our deeds. And the things that we do now is what and where we go in the afterlife. And in our faith, we believe in helping everybody. We help our warriors through PTSD, depression, anxiety. We help our sisters who just had babies. We help marital problems that people have. And we help give back to the community with our women's groups and our men's groups. And we're very big on weaving frith. Even though we have issues that are in the community that are things that we can't fix, because it's not meant for us to fix. Time will do those things at its own time and place, and it will be served accordingly at room temperature, you know? However, we're very big on respecting other people and treating people the way we want to be treated. And we believe that what we do now in this life will determine if we go to sit at the table again with our ancestors, with our grandparents, our mother, father, great-grandparents, ancestors that we've never met before. But we also believe that people who do bad in this world, people who destroy lives in such a way that it causes chaos to where they're removed from society, we believe that they go to a place called Nephilim, and they are devoured by a demon for what they have done. And it is repeated throughout the afterlife of what they have done.
You do better when you're standing there.
All right, for those that just came in, I'll repeat the question because from my perspective, I wanted to know, my fellow panelists, what's wrong with the world and how do we fix it? And so my answer would be, we can't fix it. And let me just ask this question to everybody. Raise your hand if you've ever told a lie. What do you call somebody who tells lies?
Liar.
Raise your hand if you've ever stolen anything, even if it was small. What do you call somebody who steals things?
A thief.
Okay, so we're religion day. I'm at World Religion Day with a bunch of liars and thieves, myself included. But if you have a lifeguard and he's on the lifeguard stand and he sees somebody drowning, he doesn't say, "Hey, put your face in." No. Do your hands like this. No, you're drowning. You're not listening. He doesn't do that. He jumps in because a person who is drowning needs somebody that can swim to save him. And I would say, and looking in my own life, I know that I am an evil person. And the more I know about me, the more I know how evil I am. Just ask my wife, she'll tell you. So I need somebody to rescue me from this brokenness that is me. And the followers of Jesus of Nazareth say that that's what happened. Jesus, the ultimate lifeguard, jumped into this world. He was God in the flesh because we couldn't save ourselves. And he rescued us at the cross and through his resurrection. And so I think he's the way that we fix it. And through him, we can have eternal life. Thank you.
Life is a lot like, I call it, the gestalt, that you're either seeing the duck or you're seeing the pretty lady. And I hope that when you're listening to all these answers, you're trying to see what they're seeing, because I'm fascinated. There were other questions? I want to remind you that the topic is, what is it that people misunderstand about your faith?
They're asking questions.
You're supposed to be asking.
Okay, I'm sorry, what was your name and the wife?
Oh, Sharon?
Miss Sharon, you said that you would either go to, like, I guess, hell or eternal life, whatever you described, based on the weight of your deeds versus a feather.
Mhm.
What do I need to do, from your perspective, to weigh less than the feather in my deeds and value? Like, is there like a specific number?
It's a good
An
question.
excellent, yes. An excellent question, okay. Well, basically, yes, if your heart is as light as the feather, then you pass on to the fields of the blessed, the field of reeds. Now, in order to do that, we have, and this draws from the Book of the Dead, which a lot of folks are probably familiar with, probably a lot of things, misinformation about it, but you had what's called the 42 declarations of innocence. 42 things that, you'd say, I have before Osiris, the Lord of the dead, and all of his judges, and you'd say, I have not done a whole list of things, but it included things like, I have not killed anyone, I have not stolen, I have not trespassed, I have not lied, I have not, sexually abused someone, but other things like, I have not spread rumors, I have not caused someone to weep. So a lot of ideas about conduct. Now, what we do in our tradition to kind of condense that down, we have 8 ma'ats. We try to kind of encompass that. And that's something that every Friday when we do our service, we recite this when we present ma'at. And it's, may I always offer charity and hospitality. May I always act humbly and with temperance. May I always observe, honor, consent, and fidelity. Respect the public good. Also, honor our gods and respect other gods. Because the other thing is that we believe that, all of the different gods that are out there, they're all real, including what we call the Abrahamic God, the God that, is behind Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. It's just that folks that are monotheists have an exclusive contract with that God, and we negotiated a different contract. So, yeah, seriously, because I was raised Catholic, and for reasons, I had my own crisis of faith, a little later than some people do. I was in my 20s, but kind of went, with some, there are other folks that know me and know part of my journey, but this is where I ended up. And so it's about, observing a lot of things that are in common with other religions, like, Christianity and Judaism and a lot of other folks here. There's kind of a Venn diagram and a lot of things that we have in common. It's just that, again, we don't do exclusive contracts. So hopefully that answers your question.
Good guy. Good, good. Be nice, do good things. And then your heart is lighter than the feather.
Yes.
Do we have another question? So this panel was supposed to, we only have a few moments left, but this panel was supposed to be talking about things that people misunderstood about their faiths. And they were presenting that. That was the question.
That other people misunderstand?
Yeah, that other people misunderstand. People have kind of a caricature of what you think the religion is, and this is trying to resolve some of those things. We're sitting here today, that's the panelists, and then afterwards we can talk out there. Let's all talk and represent our faiths.
I have a question that I wanted to, or not a question, but an invitation I wanted to share. Because I do a YouTube channel, and I put out new videos every month, and so at the beginning of the year I'm planning ahead. And there's a video I'd like to do that maybe some of you guys could give me a little bit of input on. So I'm going to welcome you to come and talk to us at our table. Because I want to do a video that the title of it should tell you everything. Dear Mom and Dad, I'm pagan. Because for a lot of people, coming out, and when we call it coming out of the broom closet, because it's tantamount to coming out as LGBTQ. And for a lot of folks, and there are a lot of folks in my tradition that have had terrible things. We have a member of our group that was chased out of his house with a knife because he was not only gay, but also a quote-unquote witch. And we have other folks that have to hide their shrines because they have family members who are hostile. And so what I want to do is put together a video to kind of bridge that gap and talk to people hypothetically. Well, what would you say if your child came out as, pagan, what are some of the concerns you would have, and the things? How can we bridge some of those gaps that come so often with that? So come to my table and ask me about that.
So this is one of the questions. Do a lot of people think that Egyptian pagans are witches? Is that one of those things?
Yes, but now there are some that do call themselves witches,
Okay.
but
So some-
it's the kind of the same understanding as like if they're Wiccan, so.
So we've raised a lot of wonderful questions, and we've answered some important questions that weren't even the topic, that should be our topic next year, I think. And listen to what all the faiths are saying about that. Please join the panelists at their booths inside, and we look forward to continuing to appreciate the events of the day. Thank you. Remember that the next panel is in half an hour. There's music at 3:15, come on. Music at 3:15.
Okay.
Enjoyed this video? Then be sure to hit like and subscribe to the Kemetic Independent channel. You can also buy my books on Lulu.com, and special thanks to all my Patreon supporters. Join us for updates, outtakes, and exclusive videos only on Patreon. Check the description for links.